Peace, viewers. Once again, this is A Vision Entertainment, and we are here right now. I'm your host, Tommy Slaughter, and we have one of the this is one of the legends, man. Battle rappers out here, man, that did his thing and still doing his thing right now. This is After AFTA doing big things right now. Talented. He's very talented MC hailing out of Bakersfield, California. That's where you at right now, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you, Tommy, man. Much love, man. Glad to come on the show and have a minute to chop it up with you.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. When I first I was checking you out for a minute. So I said, let me go on hands because I like battle rap. I said, let me see
Okay.
some of these battles, man. So I watch you do your thing with J Square, right? So
Oh, man, that was probably my worst one.
no, but listen, no, it was good because when you battle rapping, you you really don't know what to expect from the other opponent, right? But it's like almost for me, it's like boxing. You look into their eyes. Some people you look into the eyes and you find out a weak spot. They always throw out a line that's weak, and you be like, oh, in your mind, you're like, I got this. I'm gonna crush this boy. You know what I mean? So it was a
Yeah,
good
yes,
battle,
sir.
man. It was a great battle between you two, and I just wanted to know, like, you're a dedicated, a decorated battle. Don't worry about that. Edit it out. You're a decorated battle rapper and insanely dope producer. So you not only battle rap, you're a producer and an MC. So you got the whole package going on right now, and that's a great thing that you're doing. You know, and let's just talk about some singles and EPs. Like Nail in the Coffin. That's one of the newest ones, right?
Yeah, man, that's actually a diss record, actually.
And I wanted to get to that. Who is it? Is it okay? You want to tell me like who are you going that on that record? Can you speak about that?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's well known. See, that was actually the second diss that I dropped to him. Um, his name is B3. He's another artist from out here in Bakersfield, California. You
Okay.
know, he's real loud about his opinions. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And he opened his mouth a little too much, and he said he had bars for whoever. So I said, okay, we're gonna find out if that's for real.
Yeah. I'm sorry. He said he had bars for whoever, huh? Can you hear me?
That's what he called my pot. He called a buddy of mine. You know what I'm saying? He's talking to my boy, and he's like, yeah, you know, I got bars for whoever in the field. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that feels some type of way. You know what I'm saying? I got bars for whoever. So I said, okay, if he really feel that way, we gonna put that to the test and see how he respond to this. And I dropped
So
the first disc, and he responded, and it was underwhelming for sure.
yeah.
But he did enough to where it had people paying attention, and they still wanted a response. Hence,
Yeah.
nailing the coffin.
Yeah.
And yeah, that he did respond again after nailing the coffin, but it really didn't pick up any traction. So he
Oh,
waved the
okay.
white flag and disappeared into the shadows.
Oh, so after that he bounced. He waved the white flag. It was over with, right?
Oh yeah, he blocked me on social media. He didn't want to do any more of the back and forth. He said he was, enough is enough.
Wow. So what made you interested in hip hop and battle rap in the first place?
Well, I just always grew up really having a connection with music. One of my uncles was a Christian singer. He played acoustic guitar, and he would do lots of shows and stuff. So I was always fascinated with music from a young age. And then like I want to say around like 16, 15, 16 years old, one of my boys, he just was showing me that he was writing raps.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was already involved with like doing choir and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
you know, then I started coming across like clips on YouTube of like Murder Mook and Loaded
Yeah.
Lux,
Yeah.
Disaster, Thesaurus, all the,
Yeah. Yeah.
the smack battles, the
Right.
series, all that. I started coming across all that.
Right.
And to be honest, I actually came across the groups on like social media where you could battle other MCs from different areas through social media, have different people vote on the battles, and give their criticism and feedback.
Hmm.
So you know, I actually battled some Conceited, you know what I'm saying, and a lot of other well-known battle rappers through those platforms. So when it translated to on camera, I already knew people that were involved in the scene, and you know, they were able to plug me and get me
Okay.
onto the circuit.
The circuit. Wow, that's dope. Just one more thing. Can you get your hair is kind of getting cut off. Can you bring your phone this? Yeah, or you can move it down. That way your hair won't be cut off. All right. If you turn it back around.
1 second. Oh,
That's better. That's much better right there. Yeah, you can
all
see
right, cool.
everything. All right, that's
Gotcha.
cool, man. We talked about certain battles you were in. And not only J Square, like you also went head up with people like Madman Leak, uh Fate, you know, a lot of people, even NXT. I watched that one. That battle was nice too. You and NXT, y'all went at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was probably one of my more complete battles. You know what I'm saying? That was one of my battles where I was really happy with my performance, you
Mhm.
know, and the crowd was super engaged.
Okay. That was dope, man. So, and I want to know is like, how do you handle pressure during a battle? Like, because when you're watching it on TV or YouTube, I know that there's pressure somewhere. How do you handle that?
Oh yeah, definitely there's pressure, you know, especially if you're up there getting cooked, you
Yeah,
know. It's easy to get in your head for a second and, you know, lapse. You really
yeah,
have to just focus on composure, you know, and not letting the moment take over and you know, kind of consume your energy, you know, because once people sense your energy drop, they're gonna see like, oh no, he doesn't have the confidence, he doesn't believe. So, you know, you got to keep that composure so they feel like, oh, even if you slip up, you know, take a minute, breathe, all right, come back, and you know, people will still rock with you. You know, they just want to see that you're built like that.
you're built. Yeah, yeah. And another thing about that battle rap, as far as the pay, is it whoever your opponent, the bigger the opponent you'll go up against, you get paid, or is it more of like whoever you battle, you still get a check for that?
Honestly, it all just depends on each league and how much they value you as an asset. You know, so they might come to you and they say, okay, we'll give you this big name, but you got to battle that big name for free since your name isn't big.
Okay.
See, to whereas if they come to you like with somebody who's new, who hasn't really put in too much work,
Yeah,
there then me as a seasoned MC, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, you know, I'm gonna need a little something. You know, you want me to battle this new cat, you
yeah.
know.
Oh wow. So
But
so
to
it's
be honest, battle rap money is funny business.
I mean almost like the entertainment business, period. I mean, battle rap might be a little different, right?
For sure, there's less avenues to get the money in battle rap. You know, in the entertainment, there's different things like sync licensing and you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
uh different endorsements that you can kind of earn with battle rap. There's still endorsements, but there's a lot less endorsements,
Yeah.
and you know you're not really getting like movies and commercials that really are trying to buy the rights to any
Okay.
battle raps as opposed
Okay.
to the music.
How do you market when you up against how in battle rap? How do you market yourself? During that, like, how do you even promote or market yourself?
You know, that's probably one of my pitfalls is a lot of people just engage in the back and forth, you know, fake beef, so to speak. Like, you know, they just talking back and forth, trash talk, you know,
Okay. Yeah.
making blogs about each other, just
Yeah.
different, you know, kind of troll activities that
Okay.
you know, either that, but then you know, you got a few people who just their aura. You know, there's a cat named Jay the Nightwing from Washington, and
Yeah.
just kind of his aura is how he markets himself. The way he,
Okay.
I guess, delivers his material is his hook.
Wow. Okay. So there is ways. You just got to find that niche to market your own self and that aspect when you battle rap.
Exactly. If you're because like I'm just not one for the back and forth on the internet. I'll show up, do my job, mingle a little bit, but I'm not there for the back and forth banter.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, the one thing I mean, you wear many hats, and you're not only a battle rapper, you're also a producer. You have produced some beats, for yourself, and I know maybe for others also. How do you define good music, and what roles does a producer play in that?
To be honest, I actually don't produce.
Oh,
Um,
oh, okay,
I songwrite. I do songwrite like for some pop singers and stuff like that.
okay, songwriter. All right.
But but
Excuse me.
as far as like the beat making,
Yeah, you
I
don't.
I do not partake in the beat making. I have, but to be honest, I just don't have that patience to you
Sit there and
know
do a beat.
yeah, well, just to go through and find the exact right sound and everything like that. It's just I've sat there with producers and put beats together with them and given my
Yeah,
input, like, oh,
yeah,
but to actually go through and do it myself, and learning what each effect does and each filter and everything like that, it's a lot.
well, actually, I got that from a short bio that was up about you, and I guess somebody made a mistake by putting producer up there.
Oh yeah, they must have. Yeah, whoever.
Yeah,
I've had a few people put some bios together for me, so it was
yeah,
probably definitely an error that I overlooked.
yeah. That's what happened. Now, just who are your biggest music influences growing up, and how did they shape your style?
To be honest, there's too many. Uh, all the way probably
If you
back
could
from
name
like,
three, yeah,
oh man, let's see. I would say Nate Dogg,
Nate Dogg, okay,
Method Man, and Tupac. If I were to name just three, but to be honest, there's way too many. Like even stuff like Earth, Wind, and Fire, and the Jackson Five, and
the
you know,
Whispers and all, yeah,
yeah, a lot of older music. I my
yeah.
my pops played like a lot. Even a cat named like Gil Scott Heron. You know, I heard so much Gil Scott that he had a heavy jazz style,
Okay,
and he wasn't really like a rapper. He was more like a spoken word poet.
okay,
But I would say his sound heavily influenced my sound.
wow. So some of those musicians kind of shaped your style
Oh,
coming up.
definitely,
Wow. So
definitely.
that's dope, man, because you have a unique style. And if you and that's my opinion, So with all these other rappers out here, what makes your style different from theirs? Because everybody today seem like everybody sound the same. Everyone, like the new rappers, the beats. What makes your style different from everyone else's?
I think my versatility is what kind of sets me apart. There's not I can go from doing like a super West Coast G Funk record to hopping on something that's straight acoustic guitar vibe to another track that's
Yeah,
heavy East Coast boom bap style, and I kind of cater to what the beat is calling for,
yeah,
more so to speak, than trying to rap a specific style.
yeah. So you can switch up. You're universal with it when you come with it.
Oh, definitely. Even like the chop, like a little bit of the choppy, Ludacris, not so fast, as like Bone Thugs, Ludacris, and them, but to where I took pieces of what they did and I could incorporate it into my style and how my sound works.
Wow, that's dope. Coming out of the West Coast, what artists have you collaborated with?
Um, I've collaborated with Glasses Malone.
Okay.
Um, not to be honest, not too many industry cats. I've done a lot. I've opened up for a lot of people, but as far as like doing records, I'd
Yeah.
say probably Glasses is one of the only known.
Hmm.
artists, but I've worked with, different local cats all up and down California, like my boy Bray Sean, he's from Tulare, my boy Concept,
Okay.
um, all types of different artists from up and down the state.
All right, that's dope. Man, that's dope because coming out of the West Coast also was like um it wasn't hard for none of you to break through the industry at all. It probably was a little slow, like slower than New York, other uh places like Philly, New York. Was it hard for you to come out and present yourself coming out of the West Coast?
It's hard presenting myself coming out of Bakersfield specifically. Um, my city doesn't have the greatest reputation,
Oh,
um, and there's a lot of misconceptions about it as well. People think it's just some little tiny farm town with a real small population, but it's grown quite a bit to where it's becoming a metropolis, and
oh, okay.
there's so many artists from here
Yeah,
that it's insane. Like it's from when I first started doing music out here, we didn't really have the access to information, as such places like LA and the big places that you named. So,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
one of the biggest hurdles is we didn't have that access to the information of how to brand, how to market, um, what sync licensing was, how to release on Spotify and all iTunes and all that. We really didn't know how to do any of that.
Oh, so at once upon a time it was kind of small there. It was almost like a small town, once before.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. When I was a kid growing up, it was definitely a pretty small town. And then I don't know when it was, but there was a certain year where Bakersfield was named like the best place to do business. And then
Oh,
boom,
okay.
we just had like a huge because we have so much land. Like it was small population wise, but as far as like the amount of open land, there's tons of place to develop. So people just started moving here from all types of different cities to where
Yeah.
now it's grown exponentially to where there's so many people here that we went from never having traffic anywhere to now we have traffic jams. Now there's
Yeah.
long lines at places and stuff like that. And more entertainment coming out here. We've been having more big shows out here. Like we just had Lil Wayne, Wiz Khalifa, and
Okay.
Too Short.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it's grown to where there's just a lot more going on now.
Wow. See, when you mentioned Bakersfield, California, who actually? Because I know it was small, so you really didn't get too much entertainment back then. Like the BETs, the MTV raps, and all that stuff. Who actually came and got you, or who did you see first to influence you to get out there and start rapping? If that town was like secluded, it wasn't that big. So who actually came and got you or put you on? Who put you on? That's a good question.
Like I said, it was one of my boys that I was hanging out with on the daily. His name is Ahmed. You know what I'm saying? A Muslim
Man.
cat that I was hanging out with.
Okay.
And one day he just showed us some stuff that he was working on, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty dope, you know what I'm saying?"
Yeah.
And it made me want to try it.
Yeah. Okay.
And like I said, once I got exposed to seeing it on YouTube, then I found it on social media, and social media
Yeah,
is what really connected me with outside of the city.
that's right. There you go. And that's when it was. So did you travel to did you go to New York and places like that?
Unfortunately, like it was always talked about. I've got like my boy King Magnetic out there in New York that wanted to, what I'm saying, get me out there. And
Yeah.
Detroit is another spot. My boy Shotty P wanted to get me
Yeah.
out there, but we just
Yeah.
I think that was during COVID, and then that got canceled. But I've been up to like Washington. I've been like 5 different cities in Washington doing battles. Been
Okay.
up to Alaska actually, down to Phoenix,
Oh
and
wow, okay.
probably every major city within California as well.
Wow. Now before we get into your EPs again, when you said you went to Washington, do they pay for your flight and pay and give you like petty cash for food, or you have to go down there by yourself from California? Did you travel from
So
Cali to
they paid for my flight, my room, and yeah, they took care of me a little bit as well.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So yeah,
All right.
they looked out for sure, man. My good peeps, you know, Kelly out there and my boy Rome.
All right.
They took,
Cool.
you know what I'm saying? I think there was one time that I had to get myself out there, but that was not with them. That was with Smack.
Oh, Smack. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, they did an event in Washington, and I battled on the card, and I had to get myself out there.
Smack go a long way, man. I used to watch his DVDs in '03,
Oh
'04.
yeah,
Smack,
oh yeah,
Smack
no,
take it back.
for
That's
sure.
dope.
And you know, battle rap is something where battle rap doesn't really exist in Bakersfield. There's a new cat now that I kind of plugged into the scene, and he's been
Yeah.
making a name for himself.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm the only actual MC that's
That
ever
come out
come
of
out of
there.
Bakersfield, California, as an actual battle rapper.
Wow, that's dope, man. Because actually, because you are the actual MC, you can make that place blow up. I know you're doing it now. You're representing it. You know what I mean?
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's been people here like my boy Decades. He's signed as a producer with E40 with
oh,
Sick With It, and he's done like several hooks for 40. And you know, there's a few people who there's actually this youngster. You know, it was unfortunate because he was on his way named Run It Up J-Bo, and
oh, okay.
he was doing some big numbers, and then unfortunately he caught a case, and he's doing 35 now.
Ooh,
So
wow, wow.
yeah, so but there's actually some people from here that have made some noise, you know what I'm saying, and done some stuff within the industry. But we just haven't had that one MC that's been able to just, you know, really take over and make themselves an established rapper.
All right. Well, that's cool. I want to go. I'm going to talk about Mount Rushmore. Was that an
Oh yeah.
EP or that's the
No,
EP, right?
see, that's actually the first
That's
diss
the
to
single.
the beat that I was talking about. Yeah, that's the first diss released. Um, so the EP that I've released two EPs, one called No Hard Feelings,
Yeah.
and
Was the time of
the
my life or no?
the time of my life is the first single to my upcoming EP that's coming out in August.
Okay. Okay. So all
So
right.
so I have my EP called Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner that's dropping this August. The
All right.
Time of My Life is the first single from that EP. I've got the second single called When I Die coming
Okay.
out July 18th,
Wow.
and
Okay.
we're gonna push that and then drop the EP in August.
But time of my life is done, but it's just not out.
Time of My Life is released. Yes.
Yeah. Now can you take me back to that session and tell me how things went there? Like if you have any memories of that session, just let's just talk about those times when you was in the studio making that out,
So I
making
found the beat and I wrote that hook. I'm just kind of vibing for a while, and I think I was sitting on the beat for a few weeks,
oh wow,
and
okay.
then I put the hook together, and I reached out. I already knew the people who I wanted on it. My
Yeah.
homegirl Valerie, who ended up singing the hook,
Okay.
and my boy Chuck, who was the feature at the end of the song.
Yeah.
So I go and I lay my verse and I lay a reference of the hook so I can send it to Valerie, and she hears it and she's down, so she you know books herself a session, and I wasn't there for her to lay the hook, but
Oh, okay.
when she did it, she sent it over, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, that's how I wanted it,
Yeah.
and we put the music video is out now on YouTube as well.
Hmm.
Um, Music video came out super fire, shot by my boy Traponomics.
Wow. Wow. That's dope. That's dope, man. And you continue on. Now, are you doing any battles now, or you just strictly with the music right now?
So I'd say 90% of my focus is music, but I do have a surprise battle in a new format
Oh,
that's
okay.
going to be
Okay. Okay.
announced real soon. I don't want to say it's against somebody that's pretty well known as well, but it's
Okay.
going to be in a different format from what I'm used to battling in.
Oh well, okay. Well, are you familiar with T-Rex?
Oh yeah, man. Like prayers up to T-Rex,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like
Prayers up, man. Shout
yeah,
shout out
man.
to
That was an
T-Rex.
unfortunate situation. Like
Yeah.
it's sad because a lot of people were, talking like thinking he faked that situation or something like that. And I saw a lot of wild things being said online. Like the internet is crazy. But that was I knew people who were there, and it's a sad situation, man. Prayers up for that man.
That's because when you in battle rapping, they always have some tricks in the bag. So people must have thought that was a part of his act, but it was not. Like he actually had a seizure at that time, you know?
Yeah, people were thinking that he forgot his bars and that, he did that
Yeah.
to get out of it. But,
Wow.
anybody who knows T-Rex knows, he'll spit some old bars that
Yeah. Right.
he used in the past before he just tries to get out of it.
Wow, man. What are your thoughts on the current state of battle rap?
It's oversaturated, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? It's way oversaturated to the point where the biggest leagues don't even do that many events anymore because there's so many grassroots leagues. There's so many battle rappers to, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
doing it to where I feel like it's devalued the sport. There was a lot of value in it at one point. Now there's just so many people doing it that it's watered down now. And one of the reasons that I've really kind of transitioned out of it because it used to be in a state where there was different avenues.
Yeah.
You could have your backpackers, you had your street rappers, you had your funny rappers, you had everybody who had an avenue within battle rap, and now it's kind of like narrowed down to just street. Like battle rap
Wow.
has turned to
Wow.
like 95% street
Street,
rap. So it's
street.
yeah, it's just the current state has, and that's all. It just seems like that's all the culture really gravitates to. When you
Like
have someone like
violence.
Daylight,
Yeah.
yeah, you got someone like Daylight who will try to break barriers and do something different, and the people don't have either the patience or the brain capacity to sit there and focus on something like that to where
Yeah.
they're not receptive to something new.
Yeah. It's like almost the same thing. You rarely see a person changing things up. Like you mentioned, Daylight, he may change it up. You know, even like when I watch you doing your thing, you come different. You have a different style, and they don't know how you're going to come. Sometimes you may switch it up. You know what I mean? So this and that. So you definitely come a different way, and I think it should be like that. Everybody needs to come different. Like today, the music today sounds the same. The beats sounds the same. It's like it's not a new wave. It's just the same wave. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
definitely. It's funny because I get compared to a lot of different MCs, and like me personally, I don't feel like I sound like anybody. I take a lot of pride in having my own sound and
yeah,
doing my own thing.
yeah,
Although I'm definitely influenced by several
us,
artists that I
yeah.
learned from and studied, I definitely feel like I have my own uniqueness to myself.
But it's actually a compliment. See, that's like you sound like yourself, but somebody always can pick up another type of voice. Like he sound like such and such. It's a compliment. Although you know who you are. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, I definitely don't take offense to it.
Yeah,
I listen and I take all opinions into consideration and kind of try to see where they're coming from when they say that.
yeah.
But yeah, no, like I know myself where what my style is and everything like that. But I definitely don't. I don't get offended when they do it.
Yeah, yeah. You just let it go in and slide. Let them say what they want, but you know who you are.
Oh yeah, most
That's what
definitely.
it is. When you battle like let's say NXT and J Square and the rest of these guys out there, how much do you research your opponent before battle? Like what kind of information are you looking for on them?
It all just depends on the opponent. Someone like NXT. Um, I honestly didn't have to do a lot of research because I kind of already knew
Okay.
a lot, and I didn't necessarily need to know a lot. It's just I had angles for him, because he was, a good amount younger than me.
Yeah,
He,
yeah.
I had several different angles already. Kind of as soon as the battle was booked, it was kind of like boom, 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 boom.
Hmm.
Um, Other battles, especially ones where I know that they're good. Oh yeah, I'm putting in some real time to study and try to find as much as I can.
Well, okay. Because it's almost like boxing. I look at it like that. You're just
Oh, it
not
is.
physically, you're not fighting. You're using words. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, you definitely. You got to
Yeah.
see who's going to put together the most haymakers and who does it the most tactfully.
Wow, man. That's dope because you do different things. And when you in that studio, now we're talking about the music. When you making your music, what inspires your lyrics?
Like I said, I try to connect with the music. You
Yeah.
know, um, Sometimes it's life experience. Sometimes it's things that I witnessed. Sometimes it's just thoughts that I have. Like within my brain, questions that I may ask ask myself or ask God, or
Yeah.
um, it's just philosophical point of views.
Hmm.
Sometimes
Okay.
it all just depends what I feel when that music turns on. Sometimes I feel nothing, and that's when it's okay. Let's move on to the next one, because there's times where I hear a beat and I like it. I'm like, man, but then I just don't connect with it, and there's
Okay.
no message. I'm always looking for a message, and there's no message that comes to me.
Okay. Wow. But does it take you a while? Sometimes you get writer's block. A person can get writer's block. How long does it take you to actually write a song?
Sometimes I used to write a few songs a day.
Okay.
Nowadays, I'd say it could take me anywhere from a couple days to write a song to a couple weeks.
But before, you wrote like two songs in a day or two or three songs in a day.
There's definitely days where oh yeah, there's days where I did 4 or 5.
Wow, in a day? Wow. And hooks and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. There was times where when I was real young, like about 19, 20 years old,
Yeah.
we would. I didn't have no girlfriend. I didn't nothing. So I was just
He
in
was
the
focused.
studio sometimes from
Yeah.
I get off work 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, go straight to the studio, be there till 3 in the morning. Just working and
Wow. Wow.
putting together songs. And to be honest, a lot of those songs were terrible quality songs, not great songs, but it was all just I want to say, like they say, pen hours, you got
Yeah.
to put in 10,000 pen hours, and that's
Yeah.
what a lot of that was.
Well, at least you got them through. I know. How do you feel about Spotify? I know you have some songs on Spotify, right? You have some singles up there, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, how do you feel about putting your songs on that platform? Do you think that it's worth doing, or can you just do it yourself some other kind of way?
So I think that it's worth doing because, with physical copies,
Yeah,
excuse me,
physical copies.
with physical copies, they can get lost, damaged, you know what I'm saying, over time, a lot of that's going to fade. Where as long as that monthly subscription is paid for your music to be online and on those platforms, your legacy is there, you know.
Okay.
Um, so it is, because like I have a homie from out here where I'm from, and at one point he was making a lot of noise out here,
Oh
and
wow.
but that during that was all physical copies. There was no he never released on the streaming platforms.
It was physical
So now,
copies.
a lot of the newer generation of artists, they have
Yeah.
no idea who he was, because they don't have those copies. They didn't, there's nowhere to really for them to see his music. So, and he's not releasing things these days. So I do see the value in having it on those
Spotify.
platforms,
Yeah.
yeah, I just definitely think we're not compensated as we should be.
Now, were you ever signed to a label, or are you doing everything independently?
So I'm signed right now
Oh,
to an independent label called Clear Music Records, and they distribute through Empire.
oh, okay.
Um, but it's literally just for this one project, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then I'm going back to a full independent status because, to be honest, even right now, signed to this label, I'm pretty much covering 95% of everything.
Wow. And this is while you're signed, you covering everything.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really want to speak on any details,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's just I'm not seeing what I expected to see out of this deal. So, going forward, it's to a point where I feel like it's smarter for me to just go back to being independent because
yeah, yeah,
I'm really just giving up a portion of, whatever money does come in, even though I'm paying for the only thing they're doing for me is putting me on Empire, which, to be honest, I don't even see much of a benefit from at this point either.
Wow. Now with these labels, let's say the label you're on now, are you locked in for years, or can you get out whenever you want?
So it's just this. It's literally for one. Originally, we did do a deal that was for 2 years, 3 albums,
Oh, okay.
and after releasing the first single, the way things were going, I reached out to them and I said, "Hey, I'd personally like to restructure that deal and only do one project because I'm not feeling like this label's in a position to move how I'm ready to
All right.
move."
Are you ready to move? Yeah.
So they understood, they much love to them because they were willing to restructure the deal, and not try to hold me hostage or anything like that.
Yeah.
They worked with me and we got that just one project deal where boom, we do that, and then I have music already ready going forward.
Yeah. See, when you talk about albums you coming up with, like you're making albums now, you're making music. I mean, you already have music, so you're putting that stuff together and turning it to EPs and albums and stuff like that. With your
Oh yeah.
songs, with all of your songs you have now, do you have any favorites that you really like? And which ones are those?
So I my first single as a solo artist was called Priorities of a Playa. It's just a super, super duper West Coast G Funk bouncy type of record.
Yeah,
And I definitely, it's my most streamed record, that I've released.
yeah.
And I think it's one of my favorites because it was my first single as a solo artist and it did so well. And then I have another song that I released called How to Hustle,
Okay.
featuring my boy Mike Kane, rest in peace. Um, it's actually not released on streaming platforms. It's only available on YouTube.
On YouTube.
That's the
Okay.
only place you can find that record. Because unfortunately, the uh, the beat, the rights to the beat were purchased
Oh, okay.
by the time I was ready to release, so I could only put it out as like a for free type record for
It's
promotional use
promo. Yeah,
only.
promotional only. Promo
Yes,
only. Do you have any
yeah, but
videos? Any videos out on those songs? Or you couldn't make a video for that.
yeah, so yeah. I did release a music video for How to Hustle. I've got a music video for Priorities of a Playa. I've got another one for a song called If I Die Tomorrow. Um, Another one for Stretch the Truth. The most recent one, like I said, is Time of My Life that I just recently released. And But then, yeah, I've definitely got some music videos out and got some more
Yeah.
coming too.
Oh, that's dope, man. You have packages on its way. You got a lot of music where you could just put them, package them up, and ship them on out. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
got a lot
to
going
be
on.
honest, there was a point where I just went on a writing spree. I actually had like a long writer's block,
Oh,
and the thing for me is when I do have writer's block, there's either one of two problems. It's either A, I've gotten bored of the beat, or B, I'm going through a situation where I am looking to level up,
okay.
and I'm trying to improve on my previous work. So it's more so me pushing myself to the boundaries, and typically once I break that writer's block, I do see a level up.
Wow. With your music, like we talked about, you almost have a catalog going on right now. What message do you want to convey through your music?
You know that life, is that the values to life are important. You know, uh, I try to leave behind messages that are more philosophical. I'm
Okay.
really big on being creative, as far as my wordplay,
Yeah.
having different rhyme schemes and, different things like that. But at the end of the day, you know, I think it's important to enjoy life, handle your responsibilities, and treat people good. And, realize that we all have an expiration date and that, it's really important to find your purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very important. Before you came, right before you came into the game, what advice was given to you by someone that was trying to support or help you out? What good advice?
So, for a long time, a lot of it was just kind of like cliche advice, like,
Uh,
oh, believe in yourself, have
okay.
a plan.
The norm.
Uh, yeah, the norm. I want to say one of the first times I got like some real interesting advice, I did a show out in Hollywood and we were talking to an A&R, and he's looking at me and he sees that I'm the only one that doesn't have tattoos.
Oh wow. Okay.
And he asked me, he's all, you don't have any tattoos like under your shirt, no, no tattoos anywhere? And I was like, no, I don't. And he asked why, and I said, well, to be honest, I just don't picture myself with tattoos, and there's nothing that you know I really want to put on my body.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, that's good, because my a word of advice is keep your canvas clean, because when you come into this industry, you're a lot more marketable to children and other avenues when you're not marked up like that, which, to be honest, I like tattoos on other people. I see women with really dope tattoos. I think it's sexy. I see dudes who got tattoos. I'm like, man, that's pretty dope. But for me myself, I just didn't see it, and they kind of gave that advice to me: is stay true, and if that's who you are,
Yeah.
continue to be that.
Wow. That's decent, man. It's well said too. And just one more question, man. What else can you share to the viewers, other accolades or just other things that you're doing right now? Like I know you're making more music, but what else are you doing? Like any shows coming up? What's going on next for you?
I don't have any shows lined up at the moment. Not really major shows. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do like a few, like something for the label, for a label mate,
Yeah,
some
yeah,
small things. But when my album drops, I am gonna be looking to book a lot of shows and stuff like that. Right now, for me, it's more so I'm just working on the marketing. Um,
side of it.
Accolade wise, I actually was named Bakersfield Artist of the Year for all genres in
Okay,
2022.
okay,
Presented to me by the mayor out here and everything like that. So I've got a few music awards out here and stuff like that.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, things like that. Um, I've been blessed, like I said, to work with some really talented people, and you know, definitely, I do a lot of work with my boy JP Bangs,
Okay.
platinum producer out here. He produced, that Mozzie song that was actually on the Black Panther soundtrack,
Oh wow. Okay.
the
Okay.
Sleepwalking record. So JP is someone from Bakersfield, producer wise, who's made a lot of noise in the game.
Well, is it hard for you to try to get connected with like people like E40 and all these other guys, that's doing like, doing some great music? Because all you got,
Um,
well, is E40 from California, right? He's
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. So,
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't say it's hard to get a hold of them, but it's
like
hard to
connect.
get their time. You know
All
what I'm
right,
saying?
okay,
It's
okay.
definitely, unless you're throwing some money that way, it's definitely
Yeah,
because I've got personal friends who have spoken to E40 about me before, and his thing is kind of like, man, like I always got somebody who wants to sit down with me, or um, there's just so many different artists trying to get into the industry. You
yeah,
can't really
yeah,
expect those cats to just give their time and
yeah.
for free.
Yeah, because people are busy, and these guys has been working with hundreds of people, so they always busy. You know,
Oh man, like it's crazy. But like I said, it's not impossible, and I don't more so focus on that these days. These
yeah,
days, I'm more so trying to focus on the other avenues like sync licensing, TV and
yeah,
film, getting
yeah,
placements
yeah.
and stuff like that,
That's right. That's
because
right.
there's plenty other ways of making music, besides getting streams.
Hmm. Well, it is it's more ways. The thing is, it seems like it's more easier. It's just a little more easier now because you can do so many things independently. So it's a little easier. You don't have to go through labels no more like it was back in the day. You know.
Yeah, but the thing is labels are still kind of in control of everything. So even with a lot of those companies, the labels are their songs are getting picked up first before the independent artists. So you're still kind of competing
Yeah.
with those labels when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
However, it is easier to submit and even get your stuff considered these days.
Wow, man. You got to keep going. You already on the right track. You're doing what you got to do. You have music coming out. Viewers, we have After. He's an MC. He's a battle rapper. He's about to be an actor. He's getting ready to do everything in the industry. Be on the
Yeah,
lookout
man.
for Nell in the Coffin is already out, right?
Yes, Nail in the Coffin's out. Mount
Mount
Rushmore's
Rushmore,
out.
Time of My
Time of My
Life.
Life is out.
Yeah.
Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner
Breakfast, Lunch, and
EP
Dinner.
coming soon.
That's on the way. That's coming soon. I want to thank
Yep.
you,
Find me on
After.
Instagram at official After.
That
You
was
know what I'm
next.
saying? Go hit me on the TikTok. You know what I'm
There you go.
saying?
There you go.
Um, Look me up on YouTube. If you type in After Music or After Battles,
Yeah.
I got over 40 battles on there. Several music videos. Tons of
Yeah.
content.
Keep doing your thing, brother. We have viewers. We have After the MC, the battle rapper. This man have some music. He have videos. Tell him your YouTube and the Facebooks also.
Oh yeah, just on Facebook it's gonna be After AFTA. You know what I'm saying? And the YouTube,
YouTube.
yeah, like I said, type in After, and my channel should pop up.
I thank you for that, for coming on to A Vision Entertainment, man. I hope that when the album drop with now Mount Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner, when that
Yes,
comes
sir.
out, we got to come back and do another one, man, another interview.
Oh man,
Thank you for
anytime,
this,
anytime,
brother.
brother. I appreciate you having me, Tommy.
Oh man, anytime.